Hi everyone, it's Kevin here from Ginger 6, and we're going to talk today about what you need to be thinking about before you buy your next business PC. One of the main things and the most important thing is going to be, what are you actually going to use it for? What job's it going to do? Now, you really need to be specific in this, because if you just turn up and go, yeah, I want a graphical PC, well, you could end up with a vast range of options on what will actually do a job, and that's not the job. So the example would be, if you turned up to me and asked me for something, I want to dig a hole. Well, I could turn out and go, here you go, I've got a cheap bargain here, nice spoon, cost you £1, it will do the job. But it might not do the exact job you want it to do. You might have a really demanding, CAD work, 3D, 4K graphical, work to do, and that may need a bit more like a JCB. The spoon will get you there, but it's not going to get you there very fast. The other thing is it about the spec? We have an awful lot of customers who will come to us and they are already fixated on specific specs. So they'll be, I want an i7, I want this graphics card, I want this. And that might not be the right approach. It's a bit like someone coming to me and saying, I want something with a 3-litre engine. Now, if that 3-litre engine is supposed to be going off to Monaco and racing around the streets, then you might not want the 3-litre engine in the tractor. It might not get you very fast and it might not look cool. So, and it's definitely not going to do the job you want it to do. So, my advice really is forget about the specs to start with. You really need to concentrate on being specific on exactly what job you need that PC to do. It will make a huge difference to what tool you get at the end of any consultation you get. So, next question. What you must consider when you're actually going to choose a supplier. There's a lot of competition around there in the market, and there's a lot of levels of capabilities, professionalism, and you need to be asking the questions of, what type of reputation does each supplier have? Example will be, we'll have customers come to us and they will be looking for a spec. We'll help them work that spec out. They'll go away, they'll think about it, they may come back to me a couple of days later and they'll go, oh, I can get it for £20 less or £30 less. Will you match the price? And my response is, actually what you need to go away is do a little bit of homework on their reputation versus our reputation. What are their customers saying about them? What are the reviews out there saying about them? What reputation have they got on all the review websites? Are you potentially going to be buying off someone who, if you've got a problem, isn't going to be there to help you? Is not going to be very forthcoming in helping? What does their reputation really say about what service they're going to get? Ultimately, are you going to get your money's worth? So what we find is 99% of the time, when customers have gone and basically done the homework, checked out the competition, checked out what kind of feedback, what kind of service they give, they generally come back and go, actually, it's not worth it. That little bit of difference, that little bit cheaper that they are, it's not worth it. You need to ask how much experience they have. Who are you dealing with? What kind of experience have they got? How long have they been advising people to help them get the right tools for the job, basically. This also pulls into support. What support are you actually going to get when things go wrong? When basically you're looking for support, what experience do they have? Now, again, we've had customers come to us. They have spoken to competition, spoken to other suppliers, and the people they're dealing with, the sales advisors or whoever they're dealing with, are lacking in experience. And what we find is that they generally recommend the wrong spec, the wrong tools for the job. And it's because the lack of experience doesn't get them asking the right questions in the first place, doesn't get them digging into what they actually need. And you need experience on both sides. You need experience before, when you were doing all your homework, when you're trying to work out what exactly is the right computer for you. And you need experience when anything goes wrong. You know, you need to be speaking to people who've been there, who've done it, who understand what you're trying to do and understand where things potentially could have gone wrong. Another big question we get asked is, shouldn't we just buy from the high street? Now, my response to that is, if that particular PC or computer you're seeing on the high street is exactly the right tool to do the job you want it to do, yes, that is an option, and it's a good option. However, my experience is that majority of people who are buying something from the high street are usually buying something that's underpowered and not tailored to exactly what they want. So they're wasting a little bit of money over here, where that bit of budget could have been spent in other areas and given them a much more productive PC. Budget's the biggest question. It's the hardest question. When customers come to us, we want to understand what their budget is. You know, what are they really looking to do? And it's the hardest one for someone to basically decide beforehand, to give, you know, everyone's afraid of telling people what their budget is. You know, if I come along and say I've got a budget of £1,000, they expect that they're going to be sold a £1,000 computer. And that's not always true. It will be with some suppliers, but it's not always true. This leads us on to more or less. Do you need more budget or less budget? And the answer to that really is going back to the first question, is what are you going to use the PC for? You know, what job is it going to do? Because if you come to me with £1,000 budget and you had a specific job to do, if I could get you a PC that would do that job well within its capabilities for half of that budget, that's what I would be pointing you to. This is the job. This is the PC to do the job. That's all you need. You don't need to be going with an i7 processor if an i3 will do the job. As long as you've got the rest of the PC spec'd out correctly, then you know, you pretty much don't need it. But there will be times where that budget needs to be more. And that may be, look, actually, if you spend a little bit extra here, which will give you a lot more performance on an area that will benefit the job you want it to do, then you have to consider spending it. You know, it's not always, you shouldn't always have a fixed budget. You should be willing to spend a little bit more if it's going to give you quite a bit more productivity. Because that leads on to time versus money. So we will have a lot of people who will come and go, actually, I only want to spend this. I may only want to spend £500 per machine, but I wanted to do this job. And whilst it will do the job, it's a bit going back to the spoon, digging a hole. If you want to dig a big hole, then you're going to need something bigger than a spoon. And you have to consider how much time it's going to cost you if you actually run with a lower budget. If you try and save money at the beginning, it can be costing you a lot more money afterwards. You know, if it's something where you could increase your productivity by 20%, 30% and earn more money, then you have to consider spending that little bit extra to get there. So I'm going to expand a little bit on time versus money. I had a customer, or it was a customer who had purchased a complete office full of PCs off another company before, a support company. And this support company basically had put in a new server, and there was 15 staff, and he'd given all 15 staff the same PC. So it's 15 new PCs, all branded either Dell, HP. And I was talking to this customer at a network meeting, and she came up to me and she basically says, look, I've had all this new equipment, new PCs, and my PC seems a bit slow. And straight away, my bells were ringing off, it was going. And I'm thinking, you've had brand new machines and your experience them, your experience is that, they're slow. So if her machine is slow, then the reality is they're all going to be slow. And I started to, have a chat with her and say, look, do you understand how much this is really costing you? If you're physically seeing that your machine is slow and it's taking time and you're waiting for it, it's costing you a reasonable amount of time every day. So I put some figures together for her, and we based these figures on, roughly about £10 an hour, just to make the figures easy. Now, obviously, she's running the business, she's worth a bit more than £10 an hour. However, you look at it as a whole, across her staff, let's average it out at £10 an hour. If you're physically noticing that the machine's slow, then it's probably costing you an hour a day in productivity. Now, if we put £10 against that, that's £10 every day. That's £50 a week, £220 a month, £2,500 per year if your machine is costing you an hour a day. And she had 15 machines. Now you've got to remember, these are new machines, not old machines, new machines, costing her £37,500 per year. Now that's more than double what she paid for the whole installation, including the server, including the setup. She's spent £15,000 to £16,000, and it's now costing her £37,500 a year. And that's because she didn't get the right PCs. The company that supplied them didn't ask the right questions, didn't make sure they were putting the right equipment in. Now, you may think an hour a day might be a bit extreme, so let's just scale it down a little bit. Let's just say it's costing her an hour a week. Now, if she's noticing it, it's costing her a lot more than an hour, but let's just say an hour a week. Let's put some figures to that. So that's £50 a month, £600 a year per PC. Over her 15 PCs, that's costing her £9,000 a year in lost productivity. Time versus money, budget. By spending a little bit extra, this could have been wiped out completely, or even worse still, this could have been wiped out completely. And if she got the right machines, she could have actually flipped that the other way and be earning more money. And that's, reality is, if you're buying new machines, you should be earning more money for those new machines. They should be being more productive, giving you more, allowing you to earn more money, not costing you money. You have to take it all into consideration when you're working on budget. Don't limit yourself specifically with a budget. The most important thing is you get the right machine to do the job. Thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, drop us a comment below and I'll answer it as quickly as possible. Visit our website, which is ginger6.com. Check out some of our reviews, and if you are looking for advice, help on getting the right PC, the right tool to do the job you want it to do, give us a call. Our telephone number is 01902 714 533, and you will get through to someone, not a salesperson, but someone who is there to help, aid, guide you all the way through to get the right machine, just like a personal shopper would. That's Kevin, Ginger6.